Tonight, Michigan lawmakers want to set some rules around a growing industry within Michigan's transportation sector. Thanks for joining us. I'm Rochelle Graham. Peer-to-peer car sharing lets people rent out their cars through an app, and it's usually less expensive than a traditional rental company. But some feel that proposed legislation will increase costs. Detroit Now's Audrey Gutierrez has more.
Each week, a dozen or so people get into one of Lavelle Riddle's cars that he rents out on the Turo app.
During the week is usually ranging from $60 to about $75.
Lavelle saw a need during the pandemic while driving for Uber and Lyft.
A vehicle for 24 hours, it would be about the same amount as a one-way trip.
He now has 6 vehicles, mostly SUVs and sedans, on the Turo network.
We don't operate on huge margins like a rental car company does.
But there is a series of bills in Lansing that puts regulations on this emerging industry.
They've been kind of operating in the gray area for the last couple of years. So we want to be able to kind of set up the framework to allow them to thrive.
One of the bills seeks to impose taxes on peer-to-peer car sharing platforms, similar to the ones traditional car rental companies pay.
It would just punish Michigan citizens who share their cars.
But lawmakers say an individual who's already paid sales tax on their car and rents it out wouldn't be subject to another tax. If they have a fleet of cars, it's a whole different story.
In fact, the only side where there is any additional tax that is charged is to an LLC, and they're only being asked to pay the use tax that is already paid by every other car rental company.
One of those companies, Enterprise, supports the proposed legislation. They see it as a way to protect consumers and enable customers to make informed choices regardless of who owns the car. Opponents believe it curbs the platform's full potential.
It's really hard to let these guys innovate and let all these different new companies innovate and figure out this really new, great idea. If from day one we're beating them down with red tape.
We still pay taxes on all the income and everything else. So I just will hope they would think about us.
If it does become law, local governments would still have to put the proposed tax on a ballot and ultimately let voters decide. In Southfield, Audrey Gutierrez, Detroit Now News.